Christine Guenther was a 15-year-old girl studying at Peters Township High School. She loved playing tennis and was the member of the tennis team of her school. On October 26, 1981, Christine got a 45-minute early dismissal from school as she had a doctor's appointment for an ear infection. She said goodbye to her best friend and said, "I'll call you later about the Steeler game." The two had plans to go to the Steelers football game at Three Rivers Stadium with her family later that evening. The doctor's appointment was originally planned for October 23rd, and Christine's mother would have driven her, but the doctor postponed it to October 26th. Christine had just started her new medication and the doctor wanted to give it some time to see how it was working. Her mother was not available to drive Christine to the doctor's appointment on the 26th as she had important work, so Christine decided to take a bus. However, she had an old bus schedule with her. On 26th, after early dismissal from school, Christine hurried to the bus stop to catch a bus to Pittsburgh for her doctor's appointment. However, she never got on the bus and never made it for her appointment. She was last seen by 7 or 8 people standing at the bus stop at Donaldson's Crossroads on Route 19. A friend reported waving at her while she was waiting for the bus. When Christine did not return home that night, she was reported missing. A massive search for her was launched, but nothing came out of it. Her family did not believe Christine ran away. She loved her family, and there was no reason for her to run away. At the time of her disappearance, she was believed to be carrying 3 $1 bills and a permission slip to leave the school with her. 5 days later, on October 31st, 1981, a hunter found Christine's body in a wooded area around Cecil Sturgeon Road in South Fayette Township. She had been bludgeoned to death. She was found wearing the same clothes that she was wearing when she disappeared. Her body had been hastily buried under a pile of leaves. An autopsy revealed she had been bludgeoned to death by a small axe or a hatchet. There were other abrasions and bruises on her body, but she had not been bound or gagged. She also had circular burn marks on her wrists and abdomen, which the coroner believed could have come from a lit cigarette. The coroner determined that she probably died 24 to 48 hours prior to her body being found, suggesting that she had been held captive for 3 to 4 days. It is believed that she had been killed somewhere else and dumped at the crime scene. She had been found fully clothed, and the autopsy couldn't determine if she had been sexually assaulted. Police only found 3 $1 bills and a permission slip to leave the school at the crime scene. It was later found that Christine had been standing on the wrong bus stop due to the old schedule she was carrying. The 1 p.m. bus for Pittsburgh stopped across the street, and the bus that she was waiting for was scheduled for 3:15 p.m. A business owner reportedly told police Christine had asked them about the bus timing. After realizing her mistake, police believe Christine may have hitched a ride as she would have missed her doctor's appointment for 2 p.m. if she waited for the bus. Over the years, police have interviewed several suspects, but none have ever been charged. There have been no updates in her case, and it remains open and unsolved. Jason Jolkowski was a 19-year-old man living with his parents and a younger brother in Omaha, Nebraska. Jason had a mild learning disability which caused him to have trouble with speech and language. However, he had an above-average intelligence. He was described as a shy, quiet boy with only a small group of friends. Jason graduated from Benson High School and enrolled into Iowa Community College in Council Bluffs, Iowa. He had gotten into the radio broadcasting program and was a part-time student. He was working at the local Fazoli's restaurant, an Italian-American restaurant chain on 80th and Cass Streets, Omaha. On June 13, 2001, Jason received a phone call from his boss at Fazoli's asking if he could come in early for his shift. Jason said sure, but said that his car was in the shop for repairs, so he will have to walk. The restaurant was about 4 miles from his home, and Jason loved walking. However, his boss offered to send a co-worker to pick him up. Jason agreed to meet up at his former school, Pinson High School, as he was bad at giving directions to his house. The school was only 8 blocks or about half a mile from his home and would have taken him 10 to 15 minutes. Around 10:45 a.m., he left his home for work. Before leaving, he helped his brother take trash cans into his garage. A neighbor saw Jason helping his brother carry the cans into the garage. This would be the last time he was seen alive. When Jason did not arrive at their meeting spot, the co-worker waited before calling her boss. Jason's boss called Jason's home. His brother picked up and told him that Jason left for work at 10:45 a.m. Later, his parents reported him missing to the police after he failed to return home. Police initially did not take the case seriously, thinking Jason had run away. It would take them 10 days before they started investigating the case. They interviewed friends and families and conducted ground searches, but nothing would be found. Jason's boss and the co-worker were also questioned and cleared. The police checked the CCTV footage at the Benson High School, but Jason never showed up at the school. There have been no activity on his cell phone and bank account. He left all his belongings at his home. His family do not believe he would have left voluntarily. Jason was a responsible man and was close to his family. Moreover, Jason was excited about starting a new job a week after he disappeared. At the time of his disappearance, he was carrying around $60 with him. After his disappearance, Jason's parents created Project Jason to help families of missing people and publicizing missing person cases. In 2005, Jason's parents lobbied for a change, and Jason's law was passed in Nebraska, which allows for a creation of statewide database of missing people. Jason's friends and family believe foul play is involved in his disappearance. Jason remains missing for more than 21 years now. His case remains open and unsolved. Ronald Jack was a 26-year-old man living with his wife Doreen Jack and their 2 sons, Russell and Ryan Jack, at Strathcona Avenue, Prince George, British Columbia, Canada. Ronald worked at a sawmill while Doreen was a housewife. In 1989, Ronald had a back injury. As a result, he lost his job and was unemployed. The family started struggling financially and lived off of state welfare. On August 1, 1989, Ronald went to the First Liter pub, which was only 4 blocks from his home in Prince George. While drinking at the bar, Ronald met an unidentified man who offered him a job opportunity at a logging camp. The man offered Ronald a job bucking logs and said that Doreen could work as a cook's helper. The man also told Ronald that the camp had a daycare which could take care of his 2 sons. It wasn't unusual for families to work and live at a logging camp, and without having to worry about their children, the couple thought it was a golden opportunity. However, Ronald did not own a car, and the camp was located past Bednesty area near Cluckles Lake, about 40 kilometers from his home. So the unidentified man offered to drive the family to the site that night. Ronald accepted the offer and went back to his home to pack up his belongings to leave for the job. At around 11:16 p.m., Ronald called his brother and told him about the job offer. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Ronald called his mother and told her about the job and that they would be at the camp for 10 to 14 days. He told her that he will be back by September, as Russell had to begin his new school year in September. At around 1:21 a.m. on August 2, 1989, the family was seen getting into the unidentified man's dark-colored pickup truck. The family drove away in the dark of night. They were never seen again. The family was reported missing on August 25th after no one had heard or seen the family for over 3 weeks. Ronald was close with his mother and would often call her, but she hadn't heard from him since August 2nd. The RCMP conducted a massive search for the family in and around Prince George, but nothing would be found. They visited all the logging camps in the area, but none of them had seen anyone from the Jack family. Moreover, none of the logging camps were hiring people at the time. At the time, people wondered if the family left voluntarily. However, they were close to their extended families, and it is unlikely that they would have left without contacting their families for so long. With no leads and suspects, the case would eventually grow cold. Then, in January of 1996, at 8:30 a.m., 6 years after Jack family's disappearance, the Vanderhoof police received an anonymous call from a man in Stony Creek, British Columbia. The caller told police the Jack family are buried in the south end of Dash Ranch. The call lasted only 10 seconds before the caller hung up. The voice on the line was muffled, and it was hard for investigators to understand him. The police thought the tipster said the family was buried on the south end of Gordy's Ranch. The police searched a property they believed to be Gordy's Ranch, but nothing came out of it. The police pleaded the caller to call again through the newspaper, but he never did. They were, however, able to trace the phone call to a house in Stony Creek, British Columbia. The house was having a party at the time of the call, and police questioned all the partygoers, but it is unclear if they were able to find anything. The man seen with Ronald was described by witnesses as Caucasian, about 35 to 40 years old, with reddish brown hair and a full beard. He was between 6 feet to 6 feet 6 inches tall and weighing between 91 to 125 kilograms. He was wearing a baseball cap, red checkered work shirt, faded blue jeans, blue nylon jacket, and work boots with leather fringes over the toes at the time. His hair went to the bottom of his ear and was parted on one side. The man is considered a suspect and has yet to be identified. The RCMP has been actively investigating the case, with recent search conducted in 2009 at a property south of Vanderhoof on the Psycheas First Nation Reserve. However, nothing would be found. Over the years, investigators have interviewed hundreds of people and followed several leads, but no trace of the Jack family were ever found. Foul play is suspected in the family's disappearance. The case remains open and unsolved.